Greetings, sending all some warm, positive vibrations. This is Body-Culinary, and I just wanted to check in very quickly, um, and just to address a question that I get from time to time about how often I wash my hair. Some folks even ask me about what shampoo I use, which I did list it way back. If you scroll down in the community section, that's why I posted that shampoo, the one shampoo that I found that's natural, no phthalates, no parabens, no dyes, all that other stuff, and I don't need to use it often. And I literally just wash my hair so it is still wet. So this, I guess, would be a good time for that check-in for the Afro Flower Growth Challenge. So I'm all wet because the hair is still wet. However, because there's no oil in it, it's drying very quickly. So it's been raining off and on, and it actually dries super duper quick because it doesn't have any oil, and also because it doesn't have any oil, it doesn't hold dust as much, so I can see the natural color of my hair. So yeah, we're gonna chit chat about that. How often should I wash my hair? It may be different for you. As I say, often you'll have to find your own sweet spot. It's rare, but every now and then I get a little piece of lint. And another question is, how often and how much should I eat on whole living foods, what many people call raw vegan? I like to just call it, I don't like to get too caught up in the labels, but whole, fresh living, unprocessed food. So that's what we're going to chit chat about today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Body-Culinary professional chef, personal trainer, mother, natural born woman. Shout out to you with whatever your expression is. And on this channel, I love to share a motivation and inspiration to start your movement practice, activate your garden, and peaceful consumption. What that looks like for me is whole, fresh, living foods that I can recognize, right? Foods that love me back and don't leave a whole pile of waste on my waist and in my arteries and clog me down and slow me down. So it's real simple. Whole, fresh, living fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, legumes, sprouts. That's what works for me. I found a sweet spot. Oh my gosh, that breeze feels so good. Whew. And my scalp feels so nice and clean. But that's what I love to encourage on this channel. I'm also one of those human flowers that have been blessed on this 3D plane with really fine, cottony, delicate, afro textured hair. So these used to be big fluffy locks. So this is what you can see. It's only, I think, 32 of them. So yeah, that's what they look like when they mature. I don't know how this camera thing works. So that's what they look like when they mature. So all of them are flat. All of them have grown together. All of them are flat, right? So it's kind of like a trade-off, right? I'm not twisting. I have no oils. I have no products. You may hear my sister in the background feeding our rabitos, our new rabbits, Magical and Manifest. They're over there eating cilantro like typewriters. So yeah, so how often do I wash this? And I just wanted to say, I'm sitting outside and I was doing some work and dealing with these rabbits, doing some very, very tedious work, and it's really hot out here. So I may have mentioned before, I like to do things that are very self-soothing, and definitely some things, even though I love to eat and I love to eat beautiful, healthy food, I think it's really important. I found it very helpful to nourish myself with things that are not, that are nourishing, that are not food, right? If we can sometimes slow ourselves down and interrupt the knee-jerk reaction and the reflexive action to always just put something in our mouths. And I know I come from a pattern, a family lifestyle pattern of emoting with food, right? So there's a lot of morbid obesity and the comorbidities that go along with them, right? High blood pressure, diabetes, high blood pressure, all of that. It comes with the package. And I would have to say, related to cancer, that's been the experience in my family. So I knew from a young age that I need to switch it up because I love to eat. And it's yeah, it's like it's a setup. So I was very clear from a young age what I need to do. And it's been a long journey of several years. So let's touch on this hair. Again, you can see the shampoo in the community section. It's the only thing that I have found. And it does make a difference if you pay a little bit more for a natural shampoo. I don't need to use it very often because I don't have anything in my hair. So it still shrinks because even though it's light, it's fluffy, it still gets high shrinkage, but it is. And I just did a little bit of a cut. So I'm cutting off the areas that are very, very delicate from where I used to wear a whole lot of beads and shells. So you see how that is, right there, and it's dry but not brittle. It's just dry like soft carpet. So I don't like to hold on to things. Periodically, I just cut it off, and so eventually, as they've joined together, sometimes you might be scared of what the heck is the hair going to look like, especially if you have fine hair. And then when you twisted it, it was very scalpy. So my hair is drying super, super, super fast. It's about 32 or 33 locks. This is probably one of the biggest, fattest. So trading off all of that circumference and that thickness for a wide, it's kind of a little, it's been raining a lot, a little cloudy out here. So trading off all of those thick Congo natis for more wide, flatter locks. That's what it's going to look like. And I found the flat fluffiness is complementary to those of us with really fine, kinky, textured hair. It definitely is amazing on the scalp. My scalp has never felt so free, clean, clear, without one drop of oil. I don't have to put not a lick of oil. So all of the whole, fresh, living fats that I'm eating, I eat loads of coconut, avocados when they're in season, walnuts for the brain. What else? I eat lots of sesame seeds, which is one of the best athletic foods. Yeah, young coconuts, teenage coconuts, mature coconuts. So I eat them all the time on a regular basis. They're pretty much like meat for me. So between the food and my movement practice, that's what I'm trusting to get my movement practice to get all that nutrition to my scalp. So I don't have not one iota. And so this is all dry hair. It's dry, but it's just really soft, almost like baby hair. So it's been an epiphany that I don't need any oils or anything inside of my hair. So this is I think it takes some getting used to. We just start to, perhaps if you decide to go on this journey, you realize like, wow, we haven't really been feeling what our hair feels like. So wow, if I was my mom, I would let my hair grow down to the floor and do all different sorts of things with it. So I'm someone that had a lot of acne, hyperpigmentation. It was like my skin was looking like the sidewalk. So I really am protective of my health, right? Because the skin, the hair, the nails, they're telling us, it's like, what do they call in nature? It's called a doctrine of signature. Your body is telling a story, even if we have a gut, right? It's telling us a story about how well we are metabolizing our foods, or if we're not digesting the foods, if our combinations are not good, if the quality of food is not good, if we're not eating appropriate amounts. It's telling a story. So my scalp feeling free and clean and soft and not needing any oil and not feeling like dry, brittle with no dandruff, that's a communication. That's a very clear communication that, wow, it's a balance. Even my skin not needing any kind of makeup. That's telling a story. So that to me communicates that, okay, my liver is functioning okay. I know my elimination, my colon moves on the regular, not to be TMI. But all of these things, it appears that we're moving at such a pace that we're not really tuned in and dialed in to the body. So for the hair, how often should we wash it? Just now I was feeling really hot and kind of like, kind of aggy. I can wash my hair whenever I feel like it, and it dries like lickety split. That's why I will call this hair freedom hair, Afro locks, because we're the only ones with this unique texture. Whoever you are, I know there are different folks that watch this channel. Rock your hair, your skin, whatever you've got. But this is a unique genetic marker, so I like to celebrate it. So I can wash this as often as I want because the shampoo is very delicate. More often than not, I don't use shampoo. I make gel from the nopales inside of the yard. I grow plenty of nopales. Very, very easy to grow. You can take it and turn it sideways on the ground, and that one leaf will die, transition, another one will sprout right out of it, and it can go right into a tree. It lasts a lot longer than the aloe, and it gives you a nice thick gel. You can also drink it for lots of antioxidants, and it's not bitter like the aloe. So you can find it if you're in the States. You can find it in the Mexican shops, and sometimes inside some of the international food courts. So the nopales, aka cactus, the nice big thick leaves, and they don't have really sharp bumpies on them. Even though you scrape the bumpies off with a knife, they're not very sharp and piercing. So I can wash this as often as I want. And it's so much relaxation. That's why I call it freedom here. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. When's the last time that you felt extremely relaxed in your skin after you came out of your shower, meditation, relaxation session, and oiled up with some nice coconut oil and shea butter, and you just felt relaxed in your skin, right? Where you can enjoy your body temple pain free, relaxed, not encumbered with so much stuff where your skin can breathe. It's like, I just feel like, ah. My scalp feels like, ah. My skin feels like, ah. The only other I get is from my movement practice and then eating delicious food that doesn't give me the itis. Hey, greetings, greetings. Soulfully Real Nita and the truth, sending you warm, positive vibrations. So you can watch it as often as you want. Now, to these whole living, unprocessed foods, which many people call raw vegan, I invite you not to get caught up in the labels because you can ego trip and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy. You can really overstuff yourself with raw vegan cookies. And, I think we use all of these labels, whatever, whether you consume cadavers or animal flesh or not, which I used to, and I used to be a junk food junkie. We can really use it where the ego is tripping off about this label of this is who I am rather than what I do. So if I felt something else work for me, that's what I would do. I'm not in a space to judge somebody for whatever their hair is. It's not my blah 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 business. Or what it is that you're eating if I'm not raising you as a child in my house. Everybody's on their own journey and our own path. So we can kind of relax. We can relax. And you can look into people's kitchens and bathrooms and you can take notes. However, there's no shortcut. There's no way around having your own experience and listening to your own body tempo. And that takes time. We're so pressured, especially in this age of social media, to, I think from the time we turn on the screens to compare ourselves to other people. So the only context, I don't know if I want to call it compare, but the only time I feel like I'm really looking at someone or that I'd like to look at someone is to see what possibilities there are for me. Like I've been following women that are going into their 80s, 90s, 100s since a teen. So I like to know what the possibilities are for joy or what's the optimal that I can take my body to, right? When I mature. But just to compare ourselves to other people with this really, really subtle envy. I don't know if we even realize it. I think it's become a social habit when looking over at what somebody else is doing and what they have. I feel like it's causing mental illness. I feel like it's contributing to deep anxiety, triggering a lot of very primal fears that are not conscious, they are subconscious. Fear of poverty, fear of being alone, fear of loss of love and never finding love, fear of old age, fear of death. These are primal fears, look them up. And they're being triggered all the time. And I think they make us really manic and crazy and paralyzed, even into inactivity. I love all of me naturally, especially my hair very free. Yeah, and I'm going to say some people may disagree, but I can appreciate when I see a woman that has makeup on, or she's got a little pixie cut, or if it's Angela Bassett, or who's Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. I can appreciate it, So I say I'm at this point in my life where it's not necessary for me to judge somebody else because they're on their own journey that has nothing else to do with me. If that's what I wanted to do, that's what I would do. I'm just not drawn to do that. I'm just enjoying my own body temple, and I prioritize the relaxation, being at peace, not feeling like I have to go run and be performative, I find it's mentally exhausting. It even kind of deters me from coming online sometimes. It feels like it's exhausting to have to be so performative and have to put on stuff, So like you got to put on makeup and this has to be perfect. And I like glam, but I just I'm not going to do all of that. I prioritize being comfortable and relaxed and my skin. And a lot of times we're performing for strangers and you don't get paid for this. So I'm just coming on here and I'm just sharing. So back to the whole living foods. I would say, in my experience, this may be a little controversial, eat as much as you want. Now, hold your horses. I do think there's a big distinction as we move along the spectrum of natural foods. Because I remember years ago, several decades ago, when I first changed my consumption, I replaced all of the junk food I was eating for the health junk versions of it. So the fruit juice sweetened Oreos, the fruit juice sweetened lollipops for my son's class, the burritos, popcorn, the cheese doodles. They call them crunchitos. They didn't have all the hydrogenated fats. It was like an upgrade, but it was still, after a while, I figured, it's still starch. It's still a non-food. Actually, somebody got upset the other day because I used the term, and I got my own little language over here, because I called it recreational eating, and it was interesting. They got upset. Why are you calling what I'm eating recreational? I was like, you can call it whatever you want, but I identify those things at this point in my life. I don't consider them. And this was somebody that was like junk food junkie, have worked in one of the top restaurants in New York, everything high end to low end junk. I don't consider it food anymore. And when I look back at my skin, if I was honest, I'm going to be honest, those things didn't support my cells at a cellular level. So it was a party in my mouth. It was a party in my mouth. It was delicious. I love food is very essential. The crunch, the texture, the scents. But it was a party in my mouth. A lot of that stuff was, I don't know, now I'm just called it substances masquerading as food. And I would say after 11, almost 12 years of exclusively eating whole, fresh, living foods. I did a retreat when the pandemic, when the doors opened back up in Jamaica, and it was supposed to be initially all living foods, and then it became lightly cooked version of the living foods. They didn't want to do it, but actually it was actually a good experience. Good to know I still have my skills. And it was wonderful for folks to see that all of these whole, natural, inexpensive ingredients could be flipped and prepared in so many ways. So I got excellent. Everybody loved the food. All the young people, everybody loved the food. So it was great in terms of folks seeing possibilities, because everybody's at a different place in their journey. So I decided, okay, because I had got rid of my stove a long time ago, I decided to get a hot plate in my place to prepare some food for some people that I really care about. And if I'm preparing it, I'm going to taste it, because I'm not going to give somebody something that doesn't taste good, right? So I can't trust somebody else's palate. And what I found, I'm always experimenting with myself, is that eventually, and the things I decided to cook for them still unprocessed, still whole, like plantains, ground provision, cocoyam, plantain, the sweet potato, the different varieties of sweet potato. So they were clean starches. But I found after a while, it just tasted to me like mush. The person really, really enjoyed it because they were fresh, and I picked fresh herbs from the garden. I would have to say, and being very reflective, I found that and you'll find your own journey. It was more like a comfort thing, and again, the flavoring in your mouth. And this has been something I've been observing for many years, the emotional attachment and the connection. There's a connection with the temperatures of the food, the textures of the food, and our emotions. I'm crystal clear. Definitely, it didn't. I don't feel the water content is not the same, because you're leaching a lot of the water content. Initially, I wasn't feeling. I'm still not feeling like, when I look at the colors turn on the foods, as the color goes down in my mind after so many years, it's like, oh, the vibrancy goes down. However, for the other person, was like, wow, you didn't hardly cook the food. So all of this to say, this is feedback from my experimentation. Now, when you look at other people on YouTube, you can maybe um, garner some insight here or there, but still you'll have to find your own sweet spot. And the sweet spot, what that looks like for me, what I found, is you feel energized, after eating. You don't have the itis, you don't have to open up your belt. You are staying present and aware as you're consuming, and you can notice like, I've had enough. I'm not stuffed. I'm satiated. It was delicious. I sat down. I was able to be present while I'm eating. Many of us are not present. Many of us might be horrified if we had to sit down and do nothing as we're eating, right? So these lifestyle practices, or moving throughout your day with awareness, can really tug your coat, like really make us aware of just how unaware we are, just how much we're moving through life, almost like sleeping here, but not really fully present. And so this is the state that we're in. when we're consuming quite often in front of loud, blaring movie screens. Back in the day, I could not watch a movie without snacks. I'll tell you the truth, I couldn't. It's I'd more than likely be obese because of that emotional attachment, that soothing. And in my research, there are opiates and dopamine that are produced in the brain, even with the health junk. And I know many of us don't want to hear it, and I don't want to be the party pooper. I don't want to be the party pooper. I ain't telling no grown folks what to do. However, big difference in my skin. Only thing that cleared up my skin was food and my movement practice. Straight up and down, whole living foods, nothing cooked, whatever. So it definitely meant I was creative, and I definitely enjoyed the food. That's how I've been able to sustain it all of these years. But just to experiment and to slow down, to look at what you're doing consistently, to pay attention. I would even call it like a living meditation. You have to be aware when you're in the garden, with the plants, because all your work and all those expensive seeds can go down the drain in one shot. With your hair, you're starting to notice, as the oils pass away in your hair and as they fade away, you start to notice, like, wow, it takes a while so you can discover and see what it feels like and how it behaves on its own with nothing. So there's a lot of mental anxiety around, we're not going to look good. We're not going to be accepted. It's not attractive. I'll be see. I just mentioned this in one of my recent previous videos. About women with locks being gaslit. So it's a really personal journey. It's a really personal journey to slow down and to listen. This is why I love the early days so much. To listen to your own thoughts and question. Like, sometimes you listen to your own thoughts, you'll hear it's a very harsh critic in there. We talk about other people treating us bad. We have a harsh critic. How did that get to be that way? Also, the fears that are coming up around, oh, I better slip these edges down because I know so and so is going to say something. If you get really, really quiet, you can hear the internal ticker tape of thoughts that are going on, that are literally driving our emotions and driving our behaviors. So I found with this here freedom here that I popped out onto this 3D plane with, I take a lot off of the table. So a lot of that energy and that attention, now I can relax and I can slow down. So I can even notice what the heck is going on in my own mind. Would you say, soulfully, we all have our ways to express ourselves. I love style via clothes and playing with my locks. Yes, I love clothes too, and I love glam. At the same time, being a slave to having so much stuff makes me feel like, to me at this point, I've had so much clothes. That's enough clothes throughout a lifetime to buy some land, and most of the clothes went in the garbage. I found just, and this is where, again, whole living foods, are the bomb. They don't leave a whole lot of waste on your waist. If you're healthy and your body adjusts, and the body's very, very intelligent and knows how to adjust itself to a healthy weight, and in your quiet moments by yourself, if you touch your gut and your midsection, which is the most dangerous place to hold additional adipose tissue or visceral fat that could be potentially wrapped around your organs. If you have visceral fat, or if your waistline is coming out over your hips, that is a precursor for diabetes and high blood pressure, right? So if that is what your body is communicating, because that's a communication, then only you can get quiet. If we get quiet, your divine onboard innate intelligence with no middleman will instruct you as to what to eat or what not to eat. And we'll realize how much we're not tuned in to that divine intelligence on a regular basis, because the radio waves, the communications coming at us from all these screens is extra loud, and I would even say hypnotic. I'm humbled. It's so hypnotic. It's so hypnotic. So I just wanted to let you know that this is freedom here. I'm not twisting. I'm not oiling. I'm not doing, half the time I don't even put a scarf on. By the way, I do feel a difference when I put a silky scarf on and make sure it's cute. But my hair does feel more smooth out. Look at that. I had just washed it and it's dry because it doesn't have any oil in it. So it's dry, but it's not brittle. It's dry in terms of no water. It's just some water on the end of it, the ends of it. So it dries very quick. You can wash it as often as you want. And then initially you may wash it more. And then eventually you'll slow down, you'll listen, and you'll feel, right? Because you can feel the sebum on your scalp. you can feel for when your hair wants to be washed. You can just feel and intuit. So it's like a quiet, almost like a listening to your body. And if we slow down, if we're eating real food that has its living water, I talk about living water all the time. The ideal water is that living water. It tops anything that's been sitting in a plastic bottle on the shelf, right? Because it's in synergy with all of the nutrients that come in that package with that food, right? From the skin, the flesh of the plants, even the seeds, the living water. You want pretty skin? Or pretty. You want healthy skin, because we're all at our most attractive when we are healthy. Greetings. I wish I could have absorbed this kind of info in my 20s instead of playing catch up in my 40s. Hey, you know what? I say rock out. Rock out in your 50s and your 60s, because we've got these genes, we've got cells and their information, right? This we know that the cells, just like it can hold trauma, hold information and genetic expression. So a lot of my genes, if I bathe my genes and my cells in ice cream and processed foods, they're going to express themselves. They're going to express probably some cancer, and they're going to express some obesity. They're going to express, right? Depending on all the fluid that they are bathed in. And if I put living water from the green vegetables, which have a lot of oxygen, so hint, hint, cancer cells cannot thrive in the presence of oxygen. So if we're eating fresh greens that are not cooked to the point that we've depleted all the minerals and the living water out of them, that's information. It's a set of instructions to your cells, right? So this is so simple. This is again why I encourage several things all the time on this channel. Start your garden, because it's deeply therapeutic and very reflective. I feel like it activates divine intelligence. Your garden, your movement practice, and your peaceful consumption. And so, moving by those principles, your food choices kind of line up, right? And you don't have to shame yourself or beat yourself up. But after a while, when you just get quiet, after a while, there's nowhere to go but to listen to your own intelligence. Your divine onboard intelligence that each and every one of us was born with will guide you as to what to eat. And it requires being some quiet, just quiet. So you can know, like, okay, I know it says organic cookies, but let's be real. These are Oreos. These are fruit juice sweetened Oreos, all of that acne looking like knuckles coming out of my face. Fruit juice sweetened Oreos, jars of nut butter. I mean, who was I kidding? There's no shortage of people that are willing to give you a high five and pander to you to just keep you in a whole stroll of products. I'll have no problem giving you a high five. So I question anybody that's going to share a treat with me that's going to compromise my motor skills or compromise my ability to make sharp decisions and be fully present. That's not a treat. I'm not in that kind of position. I need all my brain cells working. I need an investment in my 401k. I like to know, what is my body going to be able to do for me in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years? What do I need it to do? Because even if you're working hard, all these degrees and stuff, you're going to turn right around and give all of that cash back to these folks that have an endless supply of solutions that create more problems than the original problem. Yes, gorgeous. I mean, have thick locks. How I love you. Stand up for finer strands, encouraging mind. Thank you, Mia. This is it. This is it. I love Valerie June. Ooh, love that. That's not what I got. This is what I got. So I'm just gonna rock it. It's just like when I had oh my gosh, my skin was looking so fire crazy. And it was one day, training clients that I went in, and my skin was looking so crazy. Even my son was like, "Mommy, you eat so healthy. Why did your skin look like that?" And I was like, "Yeah, thanks, son." That I put makeup on it, which was kind of ridiculous because I'm running on a treadmill with sprinting with a weighted vest, and of course I'm sweating. It was just looking crazy. And so I said, you know what? Intuition. My skin is not going to heal until I stop clogging. It's like detox to retox, detox to retox. We're not going to do that this season, right? Detox to retox. Why don't I just spend $300 on this extensive cleansing program? But before I do the cleansing program, I'm going to binge out on the fruit juice sweetened Oreos and the fried pats and the mac and cheese. I just didn't put the bacon in it. It's like, come on. It's like, it's kind of delusional. So if you're going to do it, just do it and accept full responsibility for what your skin and your vitality is looking like. And if it's working for you, work it. I ain't telling no grown folks what to do. But this is what I got, so I might as well work it. And I've just decided, I have made a decision to um, trade in so-called beauty. Some folks sitting around in a boardroom making a decision for which product they're going to peddle to me this particular season. What they're going to peddle to me this season, I've taken off the table. So I'm trading in beauty, and people say, "Yeah, you're beautiful." That's not what I'm talking about. Somebody is setting the standard, and it's a moving target. So I'm opting out. I'm divesting to the best of my ability. I'm divesting from stress to the best of my ability. So that's it. I like being comfortable with no makeup on. It's like, to me, it was a letdown when you take stuff off, even mascara. I do like mascara and eyeliner from time to time, maybe some cocoa butter on the lips, but I don't need it. It's a letdown to feel like I look like something else when I take it off. Again, let me make it clear. I'm not on this channel to be divisive on who has a perm. Rock out. Do you. I'm not doing that over here to divide it and conquer. Do you. That's not my business. If you're a good human being, rock out. But I like being comfortable. I like being healthy. I like seeing what my body and my skin are doing. And I'm not interested in shaming myself or shaming somebody else for your human suit. That makes not one iota of sense. That's crazy. That makes no sense. Been there, done that. Not interested. That's not a good use of my life energy. So this is what I have. I'm determined to enjoy it. I'm not about to let my hair get in the way of me rolling on the floor, me doing my yoga practice, me jumping in waterfalls, which I've been doing lately, going in caves and stuff like that. Last thing on my mind when I'm playing, the last thing I'm thinking about is hair. I'm playing with the rabbits, then I'm in the garden. So I prioritize the play and the relaxation. I need to enjoy myself because there's a lot of fools out here might blow this sucker up at any moment. So I need to get the maximum juice. And if you can see right there, you see over there, you see my skin was looking, oh my gosh, you get it closer. It was looking like, it was looking like gravel. It was not cute. And so in natural beauty, no products. Literally, I'm not kidding when I say it was not products. It was all fruits, vegetables, all of the fruits and vegetables I was buying by the case. Ask the trainers that were laughing at me in the ladies' locker room, rubbing grapefruits on my face. But hey, it worked for me. Primarily putting it in on the inside, and then I'm like, I paid all that money for it, organic. I might as well use it on my skin instead of buying something off the shelf. So I use up as much of the food as I can, and whatever is left of the pulp, that's what I'm composting for the garden. So that's how I'm working over here. It's actually simple. Sometimes it's so simple. People are like, well, it must be something else. No. Food. I threw out the shower caddy, and I have no intention. I have no intention on bringing it back. I'm not. It's too much clogging up the brain. And so I also put together a guide for those folks that have questions, any kind of questions I could think that people would ask me about whole, fresh living, unprocessed foods as a lifestyle. So this doesn't have a dehydrator in it. That might be an option for somebody just starting out. But you'll see on a journey, should you decide to take on more unprocessed foods, there will come a time where the dehydrated stuff, all those treats and the cookies, they will start to feel too dry. So if we can just stay with something consistent enough, you will be amazed. You start listening, your body's having a communication with you all the time. So that has sample budgets in it of all different types of budgets, $5, $10, $50 to $200. Me shopping at a wholesaler by the case. I took pictures of everything for all the questions I knew people were going to ask me, and I put it together in a guide. So that's called Whole Living Foods in the Hood, with menus to fit your budget. So you can totally get insight, because a lot of what I just observe in working with clients and myself and family members over the years, it's a lot of addiction and fixation with food, and there are a lot of emotions that are going on. So we're comforting ourselves. You don't need to shame yourself about that. And then also there's a lot of chemicals that are happening, that are being manipulated and activated from the inside, as well with the substances that we're taking in. So it's a lot. And so sometimes without a lot of information, we're beating up on ourselves and shaming ourselves and shaming other people. I have to say, some people may disagree with me, but as somebody that's done competitions in fitness and worked as a trainer for many years, there's something that I feel that feels good about so many curvy, voluptuous women being more comfortable in their body. Now, I am not saying that I'm a supporter of ill health, right? And I can make the distinction. You can run that with numbers, but the distinction is the shaming of folks. Shaming has a reverse backdoor effect. If you're shaming yourself or shaming somebody else, has that worked? Has that produced the types of results that we want to see if you're trying to inspire your partner, your children, a loved one? A lot of times we're shaming ourselves because it's ingrained. It's an ingrained mental conditioning, an ingrained habit. So I think it's really wonderful to see women more comfortable, just stunningly beautiful. It's like an energy that I've seen of some women where, like, I'm taking notes from them, of some bigger, voluptuous women, but with a confidence. That being said, also, our health and our vitality is also a priority. So that's not at the expense of we're ready to pass out because our arteries need to be propped open with a stent, right? Or to be on medications. That's not fly. So I think both of those things are valid. But I did think the shame is like, it's not working it ain't working for us. It's not producing the kinds of results I think that we want to see. How do you feel when somebody's trying to shame you, or if you were a child and somebody was trying to shame you? Does that make you feel good about yourself? Is that encouraging? No, so we don't want to shame ourselves and shame others. I don't. Now, that being said, there is a duality. There is a place for shame, but I think we'll talk about that in another live. But the shaming of yourself, and sometimes you got to be quiet just to listen, to hear the internal dialogue that never seems to shut up. And that's not even from other people. That's going on inside of our own head, right? So radical self-acceptance, that's what I'm doing over here. This is what I got. This is what I'm working with. I'm celebrating it. And I think that is also an energy. The more you love and accept yourself, and how you can notice this in just your motivation to get up and move your body. Vigorous joyous movement is what I like to call it. Some people call it exercise. I'm unapologetic about making up my own words, my own narrative to get myself excited. So vigorous joyous movement practice with things that you love, things that are safely challenging. A movement practice, I would say, includes getting out into your garden, and your garden might just be in the windowsill. It might just be a couple of plants. Trust me when I tell you that is so deeply therapeutic when you are nurturing something, particularly if you're going to nurture something for you to eat. Oh, thank you, Nita. I just went on this off-grid trip. Oh my gosh. I think I mentioned it before. I was sleeping underneath shooting stars every night. There was no TV, no internet access. I have never felt that was such a profound trip. And I've been to ashrams and I've traveled in nature, but that I was like basically slept on the ocean. It was fantastic. So there were coconuts everywhere. I wasn't able to get all the way up the coconut tree. Last thing on my mind was hair and makeup. Last thing on my mind. And I really think that women in particular, I think that Afro women, we deserve to relax. It's like we're on edge for our safety. We're on edge with being judged or shamed or threat. We need to relax. It's causing a lot of chemical actions and imbalances in our bloodstream. You could be eating all this living foods, and with the amount of stress that we're under, it make your blood acidic, right? So that's why I have chosen. Maybe you'll take something else off the table. That's why I tossed the shower caddy, tossed a whole lot of the clothes. I just keep the things that I really love and enjoy. So I eat less and eat the best. Same thing goes for clothes, to keep what you need. But all of that clutter, I need to take some stuff off the table, because anything that's got me worried or spastic, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I need to breathe and relax. We are medicating some things that might be taken care of with just a simpler lifestyle and a priority for relaxation. So I just wanted to come in, look at that, like the time went by just like that. So I'm about to go back and let me go check and see what my rabitos are doing, my little rabbits, magnificent and magical. Right, for years would not get any pets. I believe I rescued them, and yeah, they're putting nice compost throughout the garden all over the place. So anyway, I'm encouraging you all to create a great day on purpose. Feel free to avail yourself of that guide, Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus to fit your budget. That's on body-culinary.com. Just been doing some work to open back up the portal for the classes. Also, the guide Natural Beauty No Products. You can find that on Body-Culinary Goddess Cakes, raw vegan cakes that don't have any sweetener. Doesn't need a dehydrator, so we could do all those things. However, I encourage you to get lots of living water in your body because it is so satiated, and I invite you to consider taking on 110% responsibility for your health, because you're the only one that has like a vested interest in improving it, not the government, not even so much your partner. It's like really your responsibility. I mean, some unforeseen things may happen. I could be eating all these raw foods and I can get hit by a car, right? Um, However, I feel in integrity. It even gives me some kind of relaxation knowing that I'm doing the best I can. So Grandma Lewis said, do your best and wash your hands. So if I know I'm doing everything that I can, that's it. I don't have to stress. I can take that energy and put it somewhere else, right? Write your own narrative. Write your own narrative when it comes to your health. Take it off the table. And just as you become more relaxed, you can find your simple style that is chic and elegant and sustainable, where you're not feeling like you have to break the bank out of desperation. Like there's something wrong with that, I think, just my personal experience. When we have to go broke to go walk and parade in front of avatars and ghosts on the internet. That don't make one iota of sense. But that's just me. I hope you all create a great day on purpose. Check out Body-Culinary on Instagram. I post garden stuff and food stuff on Instagram. And also I have a TikTok now, which is Kwasa Peaceful Eating. Kwasa full belly. Kwasa Peaceful Eating. It's speaking the truth. We need to relax. I have lots. And I'm working on decluttering and simplifying things. Ashanta Mishinta. That decluttering. Actually, I invite you. So one of the biggest tools in my toolbox is friends. Now, this is something I've been doing for years. People can laugh. Works for me. I'm unapologetic about creating support for myself. That has worked when it comes to fitness, eating healthy. If I didn't have people around my place of work or family members, I would go to the library. Back in the day when I had little cassette tapes, somehow I found cassette tapes. Back then it was self-improvement. Or even if I find a channel that's really inspirational and motivates me, distinction I like to make, motivates me to get into action around what I say I value, then I put that on repeat as I'm washing dishes, or definitely to keep me company as I'm decluttering or cleaning or reorganizing and beautifying my space. So I'm just really big on anything I'm putting into my orifices, my ears, my eyes, my mouth, is a set of instructions. Is a set of instructions. Even like some of the romantic love songs. Sometimes I can't listen to all of that because if everything's talking about cheating and it's how you say, tweaking your emotions to have you go look up people from back in the days that you ain't got no business looking up. A lot of this stuff is very triggering. It's triggering our behaviors. 2022, I plan to make my own clothes since learning how to sew. Nice. Wow, something in the ocean. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think, where did I put the videos? I think I have some of them on TikTok, but every day the sunrise and the sunset was absolutely spectacular. I stayed in a beautiful hut on the ocean. The doors were not closed, so the wind was like howling, like serenading us to sleep every night. And I was like, what's that noise outside? And it was just like a school of fish just jumping up. There were nurse sharks swimming all around us. Oh my gosh. It was like being on Gilligan's Island. And there were just coconut trees everywhere. So there were hermit crabs crawling around like the army all over the sand. It was absolutely exquisite. The silence was profound. And so it just makes me think, when you have those experiences, not to make bad or wrong, we all have choices, but when I just think of all the noise out here, I just start to notice if I'm not getting anything back for the very valuable currency of my time and my attention, right? Because we all know that this stuff is the data. Everything that we look at, whether it's hair products or food or topics we're talking about, the data is sold and it's mined, right? So this whole platform is monetized. So it's 2022. If we're not getting some inspiration to get into action around what we say we value, you can be learning languages. I'm gardening with women and a couple of men from around the world. I'm constantly like learning about cutting edge science. That's online. So if we're not getting that out of the internet, that's on us. That is on us. So hopefully I encourage you to make a positive use, of the internet, because your time and your attention is a valuable currency. This is the real estate now. The real estate now is in your mind. All right, the real estate is in your mind. So, inviting you all to create a great day on purpose. Feel free to if you like. If you get any value, share it perhaps with someone that could use some motivation and inspiration. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see y'all soon. And let me know if you find that shampoo, or feel free just to use some herbs in your garden with some tea and call it a day. All right, see y'all soon.